Michael Frankel for CageMinds.com. We're at the Brain Control Center for Orthrus Promotions, Triple A MMA with JR Rodriguez. Thank you for the time, JR.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate having you.
The Midland Massacre, unfortunately, it didn't take place. A lot of injuries. Tell us about it.
Well, unfortunately, we did have some injuries. Fighter safety is our number one goal. Just days prior to the event, we lost Richard Villa to a kidney injury. And unfortunately, that in association, I think we also lost Matt Hunt, who was supposed to fight Javier Palacios, which on the last fight, we tried to put them together. Javier got injured and couldn't go through with the fight. So we've now tried to put that fight together twice. Each one has gotten injured. So maybe that fight was just never meant to happen. But unfortunately, there was just too many injuries for us to overcome to provide a good show to the fan base. And if we're going to ask someone to pay, between $25 and $60 a ticket, we want to make sure that we're putting on the best show possible for our fan base.
So how hard was that decision to cancel that event?
It was extremely hard. Still weighs heavily on my mind. Unfortunately, it is the fight world. Everyone that we deal with, our vendors, our contractors, the venues, they all understood, and they all understand that that's the fight game. But for us, it was the first event that we've ever had to cancel, and it was gut-wrenching. Unfortunately, the fans miss out, the fighters miss out, all of the hard work that the fighters put in. And the hard work that we put in is just part of the game. We weren't hurt about that. It was just really not fulfilling our obligation to our fan base is what hurts us the most.
So what was it like as the news started coming in from the camps, though this guy's injured and that's injured? What was it like as that process happened, that you started to set in that you're like, oh, this is not going to go as well as the other events?
Well, that process happens every single fight. Weeks out, weeks coming in, days before, we always get people dropping off due to injury. And it's usually something that we can overcome. Sal, our matchmaker and our director of operations is phenomenal at finding replacement fighters. And some of the fighters that we replace with are equal to, if not greater than the original fighter that was scheduled to fight. So we've had to deal with that in every single card that we've put together. But unfortunately, this one was it was too much. So we had to make that decision. Tough decision to come to, but we made it as a team, and unfortunately we had to do it. And
then we know that there were some fighters on that card then that were healthy that weren't able to participate. Absolutely. So off the top of my head, Andreas Quintana was going to be in his second straight co-main event. Yep. What's the future looking like for a few of those guys? Trying to get them back set up, getting them back in the cage right away?
Well, we didn't actually cancel the event. I guess I should clarify. We've postponed the event. Hopefully within the next week. I would love to have an announcement by the end of this week. At the very latest next week, we should have a replacement venue and a replacement date for the Midland Massacre card. So we'd love to break the news with you, Micah. I'm sure as soon as we have that information, we'll send it out immediately. But, for Andres, it's really hard. These guys put in really hard work, time, dedication. They sacrifice the time with their families. They work full-time jobs in most cases. And, it's hard to make that decision, especially, these are people's livelihoods that we're talking about as well. So we don't take the decision lightly, but, we talk to every fighter one-on-one. We don't send out an email or text messages. We contact them directly, and we give them the decency of letting them know all the details of what happened. So, we know that they understand because they've all been in the fight game, but it's never an easy pill to swallow when you get that news. So I feel bad for some of those fighters, but hopefully we'll be able to take care of them on an upcoming card.
With that postponement, we know you guys like to number the events. Does that change any of the way of the numbering? Because we know 2 more events have been announced. Or when that postponement takes place, are we just going to say, this is the missing event? How will that be played out?
We haven't given that a ton of thought. I guess it's going to be a phantom number. Unfortunately, I should say fortunately, because it's so hard to book MMA events and get all of your fighters lined up. Fortunately, Sal's worked very hard of putting future cards together. We've already booked venues. We've already booked dates for Triple A MMA 7, Rockstars, Triple A MMA 8, Rivals. So unfortunately, we're too far down the road to backtrack the numbers. Artwork's already out. So it looks as though that we'll have a phantom number floating around out there. We might call the Midland makeup Triple A MMA VIII, just to get us back on track with the numbering system. But least of our worries, I guess, at this point is the numbering. But you bring up a valid point, Micah, as always.
Just wanted to throw that out there. And then we know it's just 2 weeks away. We're getting really close to it. Rock Stars, second time at the Camel Rock Casino. Great main event. Women taking center stage. Naomi Dennison and Natalie Roy. How'd that fight come together?
Well, Natalie comes from a kickboxing Muay Thai background. She was a professional boxer, and she fell in love with the smaller gloves. She hit the MMA, and she absolutely fell in love with it. She thinks that she has a much better power coming through those gloves, the smaller MMA gloves. So after she went through Nikki Lowe, she was very interested in getting another fight. We did have her scheduled on a boxing card as well. Unfortunately, that fight fell through. So with Noheime's been looking for fights as well. And Noheime's been taking boxing matches and has also been scheduled on cards that fell through. So we felt it was a perfect opportunity to line up the two girls to fight each other. And Natalie is just dead set on pouring through the women's competition around here. And I think Noheime has something to say about that. So Sal has been extremely eager on putting on a female main event, and unfortunately, I keep saying unfortunately, this is a fortunate time in our time. Fortunately, we have some two heavy hitters. As you know, Noheime is trained with Holly Holm throughout her career. She trains with Wink and Jackson's and all them, and as well as Nikki did. Nikki was a Jackson's product as well. And I think Natalie is hoping to go 2-0 against the Wink Jackson's guys, but I think it's going to be one heck of a main event. It's probably going to be fight of the night, but there's the potential for fight of the night all the way down the card, so we're excited about it.
Natalie looked like a killer last time during the fight,
sure
but at the weigh-ins had a rough go of it. Is she looking at fighting at atom weight again? Where is this fight taking place at?
I think Sal brought the weight up a little bit. That way she's not hurting so bad. But she was hurting at the last weigh-ins, but that's the product of having a veteran in your corner. Nikki brought a vet along with her, and they made her suffer for a while after weigh-ins, which, if some of these rookie fighters, if you haven't seen what some of these vets put these guys through if you don't make weight, it's probably good to stick around and see what happens to the guys who don't make weight. But, Natalie stuck it out. She got rehydrated. She got back to an acceptable weight, and we were able to make the match go still. So I think she's she knows the process much better now. It was her MMA debut in the pro ranks, and I just don't think that she's going to get caught by surprise this time.
And then the co-main event, you guys got a great matchup of Russell Wilson, Derek Pettis, guys that have fought at featherweight, but now both taking on each other, belonging at 135. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you think and how that fight, came together.
Derek's a scrapper. Derek took the fight with Andres at 145, which isn't his natural weight to fight at. And we promised him another fight at 135 if he would have took that 145 bout. He showed a ton of heart. I just think that he was just out of his weight class completely. Russell Wilson has also fought Andres Quintana, which was ended up being, I think, fight of the year last year, according to Southwest News. And I think that you had some really good things to say about that fight as well, Micah, through Caged Minds. And I think it's a good testing to see where both of them are at. They've both fought, Andres. They both know where their strengths and weaknesses are. And I think they both went back in the gym and worked on a lot of things. Fortunately for Derek, he's had a lot of opportunity to get fights in. He's had some fights come through. However, with Russell, he hasn't had a fight since his Bellator fight with Andres. So I think he's extremely hungry, looking to get back in there and get back on the winning track. So I think that's going to be a great co-main event. I can't wait to see where it goes, to the ground or if it stays standing up.
And you guys have been doing a lot in New Mexico. In July, you return to Albuquerque. It's been a while since North versus South, and this time you come with rivals, Conrad Padilla, Isaiah Reyes. How'd that main event come together?
That's all Sal. Sal always has his ear to the streets. He's always in the gyms. He's talking to coaches, talking to trainers, talking to fighters. And, our goal is to put the top prospects in New Mexico on our cards. And it's all an attribute to Sal, our director of operations. He works diligently every day to make sure that our cards are top-notch. And always checking in with the fighters, making sure they're healthy, making sure they have everything they need. So, again, that was all attributed to Sal.
What else has been new going on in Triple A MMA? No Last Time up at Camel Rock. First time working with Eco Group. That's going great. What other new innovations have you guys been coming on?
You know, we've dabbled with a lot of different things. You know, our fighter videos. We just put out a new video today for the undercard. In terms of dynamics, you know, nothing too big. Fighter safety continues to be one of our top priorities, which is the reason why we partnered with Eco Group. However, I can't think of anything extremely innovative that we've done recently. We do have a couple deals, you know, that we're working on to expand, you know, further out into the U.S. market, but nothing that is solid enough for us to make an announcement today. So we do hope to have some really big, exciting news in the next month or so, but as of right now, nothing that innovative. I do want to say, before I forget, congratulations to Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia is a product of Triple A MMA. Took his first pro bout with us and has now moved on to a 6-fight deal with Bellator. And I sure hope that he catches a couple wins and gets in the tournament. I think that would be not only great for him as a fighter, but great for our organization. It shows that, you know, what we're doing is working. We've always said from the beginning, Triple A MMA, we're not looking to hold anyone or keep them at a certain level. We just want to give them a great opportunity to fight against great talent and then send them out into the larger organizations. I think we've done that with several people. Joe Vidapo is actually fighting on the same card as Steve Garcia in Thackerville. Joe Vidapo fought in our Iowa card. We have Ray Borg, who's now in the UFC. Ray Borg fought in Triple A MMA VI against Angelo Sanchez. We also have Mike Bronzolis, who's signed to Titan now, who was our main event in Fort Worth, Texas. So what we're doing is working. Our program is doing exactly what we said. April 28th is our 1-year anniversary. It's come and gone, and in that 1 year, I think that we've produced a good amount of talent to the larger organizations. So we're happy about that.
It's been great catching up with you. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely.
June 14th, Camel Rock Casino. July 26th, Crowne Plaza here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We'll see everybody there.
Thank you.